Hello, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast, where we celebrate individuals and families, businesses, and organizations that seek out and promote the exploration, stewardship, conservation, access, and enjoyment of the outdoors. I am back here, day 5. We are in Takatz Bay here in beautiful southeast Alaska. We are sailing with UnCruise Adventures on the Wilderness Discoverer, a beautiful, I would say a small cruise ship, very small cruise ship, very intimate, and we are traveling the bays and the fjords, just enjoying outdoor adventure. And I am pleased to introduce you to John and Tip. They win the prize from coming the longest distance to enjoy their time on the ship. They are from Lamplugh, Tasmania. And so, John and Tip, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks, Howard. Good to be with you too.
Yeah, same here.
All right, so I have to ask, whose idea was it to, one, come to U.S., come to America? Because it takes a little bit of effort, and I imagine this is also not going to be your only adventure while you're over here. But where did the spark, this idea, come from that you're going to come on UnCruise Adventure and the Wilderness Discoverer?
Well, Howard, it was my idea, I have to say, because we've done a lot of traveling, and I guess when we were thinking about where we'd go this year, John said, "Oh, where do you want to go?" And I said, "Well, I don't want to go to a city. I like to go somewhere where it's not crowded, a bit out of season, so we're not in peak season." So I thought, Alaska. Alaska's the place we need to go. And it just popped into my head. And then John did all the planning. I just put the idea out and he did the planning. So he was the one that got us on this cruise boat. And we're here for another 5 weeks. And he's sort of organized it all with my input.
That's wonderful. And so you had the spark, and then John being you're like the planning, the organizer. So how did you come to find UnCruise Adventures and specifically the Wilderness Discoverer?
Yes, Pip's the big picture girl in our relationship, and I'm all about the detail, but it was really only 3 clicks, Howard, and here we were. But we knew we wanted to go on a small cruise because we're not big cruise people. And we had been on one small cruise before and really enjoyed it. So it was a matter of finding the right one, which was available within our window. There are a couple of boats that cruise these waters, but the others were booked out. So this is how we ended up here. That met our criteria. It started and finished in Juneau, concentrated on the sites near Glacier Bay. We wanted to stay in the northern part of the inside passage, and it was about the right length. So that was all good, and it's been great.
That's fantastic. Now, are you both very outdoor, adventure-oriented, hiking, biking, just being out, birding, kayaking?
I'd say John more so than me, but we both have enjoyed hiking over the last 50 years, I guess. And so we've done a lot of outdoor activities. John probably, as we get older, because we're very old now, does a lot more than me. So he's does a lot more cycling, adventure cycling. He cycled in South America for 7 weeks last year. South America for 7 weeks last year on his own. But yeah, we basically do enjoy the outdoors, and I don't really like going to cities, so I like doing things, outside. Birding, wildlife, love wildlife, scenery, and not crowds. We don't like crowds.
What's been the adventure you've been on here on the cruise? So we're day 5. Is there one that stands out? Do they all stand out? What's kind of, I don't know, forcing you to kind of, tap within you to go above and beyond what you're used to doing in your outdoor adventures? What have you been doing so far?
Well, It's really been the sort of total experience that I've enjoyed most, but just in terms of the sights, like the natural splendour of the Glacier Bay National Park, especially up near the glaciers, just pretty rare, I think, and really worth seeing, particularly in the weather we had. We also were shore walking the other day, and a couple of humpback whales popped out about 25 metres away, and that's pretty incredible. This afternoon we were kayaking and were lucky enough to have a bear sighting quite close at hand, which was really good. And I think we both enjoyed the bushwhacking. We call it scrub bashing back in Tasmania, but we have similar forests and landforms, and we really enjoyed that as well.
I'm a little envious about the bear sighting because when I went kayaking, we saw beautiful waterfalls and occasionally the river, the otter and some birds, but the bear, I haven't seen one today, so I'm very envious. Look forward to seeing the pictures. Now, Pip, did you also go bushwhacking, or did you?
Yeah.
What was that experience for you?
Well, the bushwhacking actually surprised me, I have to say. It was very like home. So it wasn't that different. I mean, the vegetation, the specific plants were different, but the feel of the forest, we have the same type of rainforest, temperate rainforest, the understory, the soft moss and the understory, the dampness, it's very like Tasmania, very like hiking in Tasmania. So I was surprised at how at home it felt, whereas for us, I guess the most different experience here is the scenery in the glaciers, because we don't have anything like that at home. And of course, for us, it's really going to be all about the bears, we hope, in Alaska. That's what our wildlife aim is: bears, 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 really.
I love that. I would love to see a few more bears myself. I did see 2 eagles perched up on a tree earlier. I'm assuming they were the husband and wife, so that was pretty special. So what's it been like here on the Wilderness Discoverer? The accommodations, the food, the crew taking care of us. What's been your experience?
Yeah, well, it's the right size for us. The people are really friendly. We've met pretty much most of them actually by now, I think, which is good. Most of them come from North America, as you said. It's been interesting to learn their stories and to give them a bit of ours as well. The accommodation and the food and the cruise side of things, pretty much as we expected. And we only got one real experience to compare it with. And yeah, it's sort of up there with that for sure. So nothing to complain about.
Very good. Now, I am curious, once the cruise ends, and I know we have 2 more days, and heaven knows what we're going to experience between now and then, but would you share just a little bit about what you're going to be doing after the cruise? Because I found that to be very interesting.
Oh, well, we're hiring a vehicle for 2 weeks from Anchorage. So we're just driving around on our own for 2 weeks, sort of camping in the vehicle. We're not sure where we're going, so we're going to play that by ear a bit. And then we've got about a week down in a bear camp. So that's when we're hoping to spot lots of bears. Because I have to say at this stage, we saw a bear this morning when we were kayaking, but I can't show you the pictures because it's the only time I didn't take my camera. I said, I'm not taking my camera. It's probably going to rain and we won't see anything. And I said, of course, we'll see a bear. And we did. So we're doing that. And then we're going up to Denali for 4 days before we leave. And we're planning to do a bit more hiking up there. So a bit more serious hiking, I think.
Very nice. Now, what advice would you give to someone, maybe you get back home and they say, John, Pip, tell us about your adventure. Oh, I can never do that. What would be your reaction back to them about why they should consider UnCruise adventures and like a ship like the Wilderness Discoverer?
Well, we don't normally give recommendations out, I guess, because everybody's experience is different. But I think what it'd say sort of met our expectations, and small cruise, great. And we went to the places we wanted to go to. So that was all good, and we were fortunate with the weather and with the type of company that we had on the cruise. It all worked out well. So if you're looking for something like that rather than a larger sedentary cruise, then this is the way to go.
Very good. I don't think I could have said it as good myself. And John and Pip, it's been a pleasure to have you on the Outdoor Adventure Series. I really appreciate you taking the time and leaning in to do a little bit of podcasting. Now you're going to be stars. People are going to know who you are. We're not going to tell them exactly where you are, but they're going to know who you are. But we really appreciate you taking the time, and this is going to help others who perhaps are thinking about venturing out and having these types of experiences. And again, welcome to the U.S., and we hope you enjoy the rest of your adventure here in Alaska. And it's been a pleasure to get to know you both here on the ship, both on the excursions and breaking bread with you, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Howard. It's been great.
Yeah, great, Howard. Thanks.
All right, folks, we've just been chatting with John and Pip from Launceston, Tasmania. So they win the prize for traveling the longest distance to get here to this 7-day adventure. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We've got more in store for you. To learn more about UnCruise Adventures, visit their website at uncruise.com. You can also learn more on their social sites at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. If you enjoyed podcasts devoted to outdoor adventure, find us online at outdooradventureseries.com. And remember, we welcome likes, comments, and sharing. You can also find us on our Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube pages by searching for Outdoor Adventure Series. And you can also find us on all of the leading podcast platforms. All the links that we mentioned just now can be found in our show notes for this episode. And until next time, we look forward to having you join us for a new episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series podcast.